Hello, this is going to be a full setup guide. I'm going to walk you through the process of setting up your files and showing you some of the applications you're going to need to install in order to get that Zelda theme running on your device. The first app we're going to take a look at is the KLWP application, that is Custom Live Wallpaper. This is the application I use to design the theme in its entirety, so it has all the elements, all the animations, and icons that you see on the main screen. The second app is completely optional. This is the Tasker application, and it is not necessary in order to have the Zelda theme set up in your device. I use Tasker in order to implement some of the more niche features found within the theme. That is, features like the save prompt, where you'll be prompted to either save, load, or delete your application's layout in order to be able to revert to a previous version in case for any reason the theme decides to mess up the way you have your applications organized. Also, being able to switch out applications on the fly from the home screen without having to go into your custom app and manually switch out those applications yourself. And one of my personal favorite features, being able to hear those little chimes and sounds while interacting with the theme. Lastly, you'll be needing a launcher of your choice. I use Nova Launcher, and that is what I'll be using within this video. Feel free to use any other launcher you might prefer. Just know that there might be changes because not all launchers work the same. And now that we know what applications we're going to need, I'm going to head over to my files to show you how you want to have your folders organized in order to have a more smooth setup. I'm also going to remove some of the files I have in my folders here just for us to be on the same page. And once that is done, I'm going to head over to Nova Launcher to switch out from One UI, which is the default launcher that Samsung devices use. And I'll make sure I make this my default launcher just so whenever I press on the home or the back key, it'll send me back to my home screen using Nova Launcher. Now we're going to launch custom and go through the setup process here. Just follow the prompts. Make sure you allow some of the permissions that it asks for because the theme incorporates these in order to work properly. We'll also be asked to select a folder. If you don't already have one, you can go ahead and tap the Create New Folder button and name it as so, custom with a capital K, and make sure to allow access to this folder. Now, in order to be able to import the linked files that are available on my previous video, we'll have to give custom access to our files, so we'll go ahead and hit allow here. We'll tap on import again, and this time go into our custom assets folder. This is another folder you want to create. Make sure it's also in your internal storage, spelled as is, custom assets all together with a capital K and a capital A. Now we'll be able to load our wallpaper within the custom editor. We'll give it a second to load and we'll go through some of the prompts here. Just click OK on all of them. Before we start messing with any of the files or images, we want to fix these requirements missing. So we'll tap on Fix Now and go through each of these, tapping Fix Now and allowing these permissions for custom. Now it's always the case, whenever I reinstalled custom, it's always a bit slow in the beginning and it always gives me these non-responding errors. So I'm just going to go ahead and wait on all of them and fast forward a little bit. Next, we're going to want to apply our wallpaper onto our home screen. So we'll hit the save icon. It'll give us another requirements issue. We'll just tap Fix Now, Set Wallpaper, and set this wallpaper onto our home screen. At this point, we can return to our home screen and wait for our wallpaper to load. Now we can see some of our images are missing, like our symbol, background, our heart meter, our weather icons at the bottom. So we'll go into My Files and address this issue. We're going to navigate onto our Custom Assets folder and onto our downloaded files. We want to make sure these two folders up at the top are within the Custom Assets folder that is directly under that. So we'll go ahead and copy these two Move them into our custom assets folder, and this should fix most of our image problems. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. We'll go back into our custom application and reload our wallpaper. As you can see, as soon as we updated our folders within our internal storage, custom went ahead and detected those changes and loaded all of our images back onto our editor. We can see our symbol, our background, our hearts, the weather icons down at the bottom. If you are still having issues, we can go into our globals tab, go ahead and look at some of our bitmap images. Right here, I'll go into the main folder, which holds some of the images for our symbols, our weather icons, our hearts. I'll select one of the elements that I have in this folder. You want to make sure the directories found within these elements matches that same setup we had in our folders earlier. And if for some reason you want to have the custom assets folder somewhere else, you can go into these elements and edit the directories they're pointing onto manually. Now we can go into our home screen and see how our theme is looking at this point. Or actually, I'll have to go back into custom, forget to hit that save icon. So we'll tap save, and we should see these changes reflected back onto our home screen. And there it is. So here's our theme. So far, it's looking good. We can touch some of the icons, and we'll see our application icons are missing. That is because normally we would have to set up each of these applications manually within custom, but at this point I'm going to move on to Tasker and show you how we could do that automatically. Now, with Tasker, we're also going to allow some of these permissions, just like in custom, in order for it to function properly. So I'm going to tap on Allow Notifications, just in case if we get any errors, we can look at them from a notifications bar. With our setup, we'll be using the full experience for Tasker, and we're going to go down each of these checkbox and make sure to allow these permissions. For this battery optimization one, you're going to want to look into your own device and make sure it's not affecting this application using any kind of battery optimization settings. You want to turn those off just because it might affect the way Tasker works. We'll go ahead and turn off these notifications and tap on Proceed to go ahead and launch the Tasker UI. You'll see these tip prompts appear every now and then. You can go ahead and tap on No or stop reminding me so that it will keep showing up. From here, we'll go into the Tasker settings, tap on Data, we'll tap on Restore, and use a user local backup. Now we'll be prompted that we're missing permissions, so we'll tap Allow. Here we'll tap OK, go down, find Tasker, and enable it. Now we can go back. It should give you this file select prompt. If not, just follow the previous steps that we got. Now we're going to go want to look for our .xml file that we should have downloaded it if we're using Tasker. We'll tap on it. It'll ask us if we want to continue. We'll tap OK. Now we want to make sure not to forget to tap on that check mark that appears up at the top just to confirm our changes. From here, we'll go on to the Tasks tab. We'll want to tap on the Get Apps version 2 task, and we're going to attempt to run it. We will get an error. This is how we'll fix it. We're going to open our notifications. We'll scroll down to the bottom, enable Tasker here. We'll go back and we'll try running it again. It should be successful this time. If not, you might want to go over some of the permissions that you might be missing. I'm just going to run it here and we got a successful run. All right. We're going to back out, tap on our check mark. Make sure to back out at Tasker using our device's back button. This will make sure all of our changes are implemented correctly. So we want to tap that back button within our device. We don't want to tap home or tap recent apps. We want to back out all the way through. We should see some applications populate right now. I'm just going to go into my notifications bar and disable this notification now that we have Tasker set up completely. Go under categories and disable monitor right here. And we can see Tasker has loaded our applications onto our home screen. Now I'll try to use the save prompt feature to revert back to my previous application's layout and see if it works. And we'll see it just got rid of all of our icons. I'm gonna close these and see what's going on. Well, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and open these up again. I'm gonna give it a second try. Second time's a charm. And oh, thank you for the like, Mudkip. I'm gonna go ahead and tap load, and there it is. This is the way I normally have my applications organized. Now for you it might be different because you don't actually have a layout saved within your folders yet, so you have to use the themes features in order to get those applications organized the way you want them. Once you do, you're going to want to use the save prompt and tap save in order to get that file within your downloads folder. This will be a text file named save.txt. And with that, we have finished setting up our Zelda theme using both custom and tasker. From this point, I'm going to show you how you could customize your home screen layout using just the KLWP app by guiding you through the process of switching out our applications icons manually. So let's go ahead and open up our custom application once more. This time I'm going to tap on import and use one of the Sheikah light themes. In this example, I'm going to use the Sheikah underscore L. This is just the light theme rename, so I can be able to tell it apart whenever I'm loading it from custom. So I'll select my file, and it should load up into my wallpapers here. Doesn't look like that's happening. I'm going to go ahead and retry. And if that doesn't work, I might just have to close the application and open it again. Alright, now that we got that working, I'm going to load up the theme. And once I start tapping some of the buttons here, you're going to see that our icons are missing. The way we change those manually is going through our elements here at the bottom. I'm going to scroll until I see app 1, app 2, and so on. I'll choose app 1, tap on icon. You're going to want to click the checkbox here next to bitmap, and then tap on the calculator icon at the top right corner. That'll give us the option to pick our image. Where you keep these image files will be completely up to you, but I'll show you the application I use to help me easily choose from different icons. For now, I'll use some of the images I have in one of my subfolders to show in this example. So you can see here I have some of the image icons and other assets that I'm using within the theme. I'll go ahead and use the camera icon, and once I tap it, you'll see it update on my editor. And we'll have to update the touch event as well. As you see, whenever I tap the icon right now, we have a formula popping up as the touch event. We'll go into the touch tab, and we'll change this from open link to launch app. In this case, I was already using this as a camera, so we can either update this to a different application, but I'll just tap camera again. And whenever I tap it now, it'll actually use the camera application. Now we can go ahead and test our changes by hitting the save icon. On another note, you also want to make sure to every now and then create a manual restore point. I'll show you this by using that little loopy arrow. You can tap it, tap create restore point, just to make sure if for some reason KLWP closes randomly, we can have that manual backup and load it up again. Anyhow, we'll back out into our home screen, go into the main screen here, and you can see our icon has been updated. Tapping it will open up the camera, and ta-da! Right now I'm recording from my restroom. Never mind that. We'll close the camera, go back into our editor, and I'll show you once more using the second application here next to the camera icon. We'll back out into our elements, choose app 2, icon, checkbox, calculator. This will give us access to pick our image. From here I'll use Facebook, for example. We'll back out of here, go into our touch event, update the open link to open or launch app, and choose Facebook from our library of apps, Facebook. And you can see once tap it, it'll launch Facebook. Now, onto one of our folders. We'll go into our left folder here, back out into our main elements, to our root folder. We want to scroll all the way down until we find, until we find the left drawer element. We'll select it, and I have these divided into separate groups. I'm just gonna go ahead and go into drawer apps. Here we see the different groups. I'll tap on the first one, which will be the first row, and I'll tap on the first application here. The same steps follow, so we'll tap on icon, pick our image, I'll use the camera again, and we'll update the touch event. Actually, we gotta back out of here, click on the touch tab, and we'll have to update. Actually, there are two of them. What's going on here? Jeez, looks like I'm gonna need my own setup guide, but that's right. I'll have to actually delete this touch event, and we'll use the first one that we have here. We'll just have to update the application. Tap the camera application, and you can see tapping it will launch the camera app, but actually this is not exactly right. Let me go ahead and try to restore to that manual save that I made before. I think I did something wrong, so alright, we'll go back down to our left drawer group, our drawer apps, the first group, the first application, touch tab, and actually I wasn't meant to delete this action because this is the event that actually closes the folder whenever we tap on that first app icon. So I'll just back out of here and update our application to use the camera, back out, and update our icon as well. So now whenever tapping this icon, it'll launch the camera. You'll follow a similar step to update the rest of the icons, as well as our right folder over here. We'll just have to scroll down and use the right drawer instead. You'll follow that same procedure that we used to update the first 10 icons. And in order to update the subfolders here, you'll actually have to go down into the R1 and R2 folders. Or actually, if you want to go ahead and move them around, because it's actually R1 first and then R2. Makes more sense. But we'll go into the R1 subfolder, we'll go into our apps, and this time it'll be set up in 3 rows, or I mean 3 app icons per row. Follow the same steps, pick our image, back out and update our touch event. Here instead of open link, we'll use launch app. And we'll look for our Gmail application. Scroll down and there it is. Now whenever we tap this icon, it'll launch the Gmail app. Now I had to re-record for this bit, but an easier way of getting those application icons onto custom is downloading IconZ. For that, you'll just pick an image like before, pull up the sidebar and go down onto IconZ, tap it and search for your desired icon. Here I'll search for camera, and I'll choose one of the simpler icons from the top. I'll pick this one. Once I pick it, it'll load onto custom. Now I'll also show you how the super light version of the theme works. So here I'm just going to go ahead and load up a preset, import, back out of here, and then look for my Sheikah SL preset right here for super light. Load it up, and here you can see whenever I try tapping on the left and right folders, nothing happens. That is because the super light version just uses the home screen, which is the 10 applications, the clock feature, the music player, and the calendar, as well as the heart meter, the thermometer at the bottom, the sound visualizer, the forecast. But yeah, and I think that's about it for this video guide. I hope you found this information useful. Feel free to reach out if you're still having any problems or issues. I'm more active on my Reddit account, but you could DM me on any of the other social media trash out there. If not, thank you for watching.